Everyone, good evening. So I'm wearing my headphones with a microphone this time because last video that I did, the sound I felt like was not the greatest, and like there was weird noises coming in, and I'm not sure what that was. So I'm gonna see if this makes it better. So this evening, I just wanted to share some things that have been placed on me. Been reading and just spending time with the Lord and just studying a lot lately. And there are some studies coming that I'm going to be doing, God willing, because they're like a little bit bigger. So I just have to, oh, excuse me, um, sit and do them. And I've been really busy as well, but I really do want to get it done. Um, so for this evening, okay, so a person that I used to be close to, um, very close to, shared with me that one time when, and it was a profound experience that this person had and shook him. Um, at that time, very much. And so this person had taken acid and I believe it was acid. Like I know it was shroom. Maybe it was just shrooms. I can't remember. Okay, but like a psychedelic, maybe just a whole bunch of shrooms. However, okay, he was driving and like he said like he saw the sky fall. Like saw the sky crash, like everything like came down. It didn't really like at the time that like this was a long time ago when I first heard it, and um it's only recently, like literally recently, even though I've read these scriptures many, many times over the 9 years. It's gonna be it's been 9 years since I've been walking with the Lord now, and um, I've read these over and over, but it's just recently that it's been placed back on my mind and spirit what he said that he saw. And I started to wonder if these verses that I'm about to read, sorry, I'm just kind of like relaxing and I didn't, not even like set up properly here, but I wanted to just come on and read these and share this because I think it's possible that he was given a vision of what is coming in the future. And I'm going to relate three verses that absolutely God's talking about the same thing here. Okay. So Matthew 24:29 starts, but immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory, and he will send forth his angels with a great trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the sky to the other. Okay, I'm going to come back to that because another verse just popped into my mind, which I believe is Revelation 14. But to stay on this, okay, because in the vision that this person had, which terrified him, by the way, and he was shaken by it. It says, but immediately after the tribulation of those days, like in verse 29 again, the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. So you can compare this with Revelation 6. Revelation 6:12. I looked when he broke the sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth made of hair, and the whole moon became like blood, and the stars of the sky fell to the earth, as a fig tree casts its unripe figs when shaken by a wind, and the sky was split apart like a scroll, and it rolled up, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Then the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the commanders, and the rich, and the strong, and every slave and free man hid themselves in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. And they said to the mountains and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the presence of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of their wrath has come. Because the seals are not, it's showing you in each section of what's to come. Seals are not in the order as people think. Okay, so this is relating to when God's wrath comes, and you can see this in Revelation 16 when they talk about the bowls of wrath. Sixth seal lines up with this. The seventh angel, okay, Revelation 16:17. The seventh angel poured out his bowl upon the air, and a loud voice came out of the temple of the throne, saying, it is done. And there was flashes of lightning and sounds and peals of thunder, and there was a great earthquake, such as there has not been since man came upon the earth, so great an earthquake that the great city was split into three parts, and the cities of the nation fell. Babylon was remembered before God to give her the cup of the wine of his fierce wrath. And every island fled away, and mountains were not found, and huge hailstones, about 100 pounds, came down from heaven upon men, and men blasphemed God because they were probably hiding, like it shows in Revelation 6, with that sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake, and the stars were falling, and islands fled away, and mountains. And then the men hid from the wrath of the Lamb, because there's also great hailstones coming down, 100-pound hailstones coming down. And that is the wrath. Okay. So this also, though, brings me to, we're in Matthew 24. This is a little bit off of it, but the verse itself brought me to it. So verse 24, where it talks about Jesus after the tribulation, before the wrath, because we are not appointed to God's wrath. Okay. So if you go to Revelation, I believe it's in 14. Let me find it now. 14:14, I thought it was. Yeah. Okay. So Matthew 24, God himself, Jesus, is telling us that after the tribulation, the stars are going to fall. Then they're going to mourn because they will see the Son of Man. And remember what he tells us. Like, don't be deceived. One of the first things he says in Matthew 24, don't be deceived. As far as east is from the west, we will see him. Every eye will see him. But it says in 14:14, then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and sitting on the cloud was one like a son of man, having a golden crown on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. And another angel came out, because in Matthew 24 it even says the angels. The angels are the reapers with Christ, and the reapers of the wheat and tares. Okay. Okay, and another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, put your sickle in and reap, for the hour to reap has come, because the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, and he also had a sharp sickle. Then another angel, the one who had power over fire, came out of the altar, and he called out with a loud voice to him who had the sharp sickle, saying, Put in your sharp sickle and gather the clusters from the vine of the earth, because her grapes are ripe. So the angel swung his sickle to the earth and gathered the clusters from the vine of the earth and threw them into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the wine press was trodden outside the city, and blood came up out of the winepress to the horses' bridles for a distance of 200 miles. Which makes sense, because if you read in the next verses, when you realize that the reaping, which would be like a rapture, a divide, because we're not appointed to the wrath that is to come. The very next scene in Revelation 15:1 says, Then I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels who had 7 plagues, which are the last, because in them the wrath of God is finished. And I saw something like a sea of glass mixed with fire, and those who have been victorious over the beast and his image and the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, holding harps of God, and they sang the song of Moses, the bondservant of God. So that happens, that those who did not take the mark, did not worship the image, who stood for Christ, endured till the end, were taken before the wrath, separated to not endure the wrath. We're not appointed to the wrath, and that's what we know. That doesn't mean that we were not appointed to all of the tribulation, even though it says there's 144,000, which this is where the Lord is taking me in this unexpectedly, but let's just go ahead. So a lot of people just talk about just the 144,000, like there's, which they misunderstand this as well. But it also says, let me find it. Sorry, people. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so it says, in Revelation 7, it's talking about after this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, so that no wind would blow on the earth or on the sea or any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the rising of the sun, having the seal of the living God. And he cried out with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was granted to harm the earth and sea, saying, Do not harm the earth or sea or trees, till we have sealed the bondservants of God on their foreheads. Now it goes into the 144,000 who are sealed, from the tribe of Judah, Asher, Simeon, Zebulun. But then right after that, it says, After these things I looked, starting in Revelation 7:9, and behold, a great multitude, which no one could count, from every nation and all tribes and peoples and tongues, standing before the throne, before the Lamb, clothed in white robes, and palm branches were in their hands, and they cry out with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to God, to our God who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb. And all the angels were standing around the throne and around the elders and 4 living creatures, and they fell on their faces. And as we know, it says, starting in verse 13, one of the elders answered, saying to me, these who are clothed in the white robes, who are they and where have they come from? And I said to him, my Lord, you know. And he said to me, these are the ones who come out of the great tribulation and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. For this reason, they are before the throne of God, and they serve him day and night in his temple. And he who sits in the throne will spread his tabernacle over them, and they will hunger no longer, nor thirst any more, nor will the sun beat down on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb in the center of the throne will be their shepherd and guide them to the springs of the waters of life, and God will wipe every tear from their eyes. Okay, so I don't know. I was love to read all that unexpectedly, but I was just going to talk about the sky verses because that was on my mind, and um, maybe it can enlighten someone. And so there's other things that I'm going to be talking about coming up. I've seen a lot of people mixing a lot of things, but not to just jump all over the place and talk about different topics here, but a message that has been put on my spirit now, which, like, I guess you can always say time is always short. You know what I mean? Like, since Jesus ascended and since he was crucified, like, we've been in the end days, but, like, obviously we're the very end. So people don't have to believe that or take it as you will. No man knows the day or the hour. Only God alone knows it. Not even the angels know the hour, even if you know the day. So, one thing I will say is while there is still time, like, time is short. Repent now. Like, time is short. And that was pressed heavily on me, that time is running out. Okay, those specific words, time is running out. Um, I don't know what else to say. That is coming from what the Lord placed on my spirit. There is time. He is calling people to him. As things get worse, hopefully more will come to him, but there will be a great falling away because a lot of people didn't think that these times would come to them, that times would get really bad. And so as times do get worse, or they have to choose between life and death to stand for him in certain places or whatever is to come, okay, we know there'll be a great falling away. We're already seeing that. We're already seeing the divide begin and the separation. We're further than people think. We are further in than people think right now in the revelation. Um, Satan's here, and we'll see how this gets with as far as materialization as they did before, what will be allowed this time, and what we'll see. The evil spirits are the Nephilim. That's who they are, and their offspring. Um, and then we have the fallen, and these demons have been here for, and now Satan has the hive mind and the internet to try to be omnipotent or omnipresent like the Lord, but he will never be God, ever, ever. So God bless you all, and I hope that this reaches who it needs to. God bless.